Hi, and welcome to this episode of Mindset Mentoring for athletes, families, and entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Coach Chuck, and this week I'm honored to be talking with a professional athlete so we can talk about mindset and his experiences from going from high school to Division I baseball and then to minor league baseball. So be sure to stay tuned for that.
Welcome to Success Institutes, where we turn potential into achievement. Are you ready to transform your mindset and unlock your true potential? We are experts at guiding teenagers, families, athletes, and entrepreneurs to break through limiting beliefs and release negative emotions, empowering them to adopt a champion's mindset. Do you feel like you have more potential to unlock, but something is holding you back from reaching it? Or do you feel that about your teenager, teen, or business? At Success Institutes, we understand these challenges. Our Mindset Transformation Training and 10-week Transformative Habits Integration Program are designed to help you overcome unconscious obstacles, foster a growth mindset, and build habits that allow you to become a master of your mindset and a master of your life. Our foundational programs offer practical tools and strategies to shift from a mindset of defeatism to one of unstoppable success. Imagine gaining clarity, confidence, and the habits needed to reach your goals and enhance your well-being. Whether you're an athlete striving to reach new heights, a student pushing for academic success, a parent balancing your teen's needs with your own challenges, or an entrepreneur looking to unlock your full potential and that of your team, we are ready to support you every step of the journey. Discover how our tailored programs can help you break barriers and build a future full of possibilities. Ready to take the first step towards transformation? Visit successinstitutes.co and schedule a discovery call with our team today to learn how you can shift your mindset, overcome challenges, and achieve your dreams. Success begins with the right mindset. Contact us now to start your journey to greatness.
Welcome back. And in this episode, I'm honored to have Quinn McDaniel join us. Quinn was a 2020 graduate of Marshwood High School, a small but competitive school in southern Maine, known for producing standout athletes despite its size. Quinn was no exception, excelling on the baseball field during his time there. And after high school, he continued his baseball career at the University of Maine, where he made a significant impact on the team. He also played summer baseball for the Sanford Mainers, further honing his abilities. During his junior year, Quinn was one of the best in the nation at getting on base, showcasing his discipline and skill at the plate. His standout performances earned him a spot in the 2023 MiLB draft, where he was selected by the San Francisco Giants. Quinn has just completed his first full season in the minor leagues, and we're excited to have him here today to share his journey from small high school in Maine to professional baseball. So let's welcome Quinn McDaniel. Welcome, Quinn. Glad to have you here. Thank you for taking the time out of the day to join me.
For sure. I'm excited.
So I want to jump right into this and kind of have you talk a little bit about your high school years and your evolution as an athlete. Like, were you a multiple sport athlete? Did baseball dominate from the very beginnings? How did you go about those high school years, getting to a point where you could become a D1 athlete and going from there? You want to kind of share that with us?
Yeah, so I played 3 sports growing up. I played basketball, football, and baseball. And it was up until after my freshman year of high school, I decided that I was going to stop playing football and maybe focus a little more on baseball and maybe get into the weight room a little bit where I could try and gain some size and some strength. So that was good. I mean, basically every day after school, I had a few buddies that class would get out and we would go right to the weight room and we would tear it up in there for like an hour, 2 hours. I honestly think that was a big piece of my development in high school. I spent the whole fall and winter just getting in the weight room and just getting bigger, stronger. And then throughout that, I mean, I was playing summer travel ball, and there was a facility near my house where I could go I mean, rain or shine, it was indoors, so I would go and hit and take ground balls and stuff like that. So that was huge too.
Awesome. So pretty typical then. It was a lot about becoming bigger, stronger, faster, and then trying to work on some of those baseball skills, right? That seems pretty typical. Now, I think it was, did you first become a starting shortstop your sophomore year? What year were you when you...
Sophomore year, yeah.
Sophomore year. So freshman year, you began doing all the weight work and all that other stuff, so that then by the time you were a sophomore, you stepped right in.
Yeah.
All right. Now I know your junior year, you were like one of the best players going on, and your team was really good. And then, there was a lot of excitement about your team and South Portland going to be going into your senior year, right? Like there's some real good players, bunch of D1 talented guys in those two teams. And COVID came along. Can you talk about what that was like as a high school player who wanted, your senior year, right? This is what you work for, and to lose that. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was disappointing to say the least, but I think there was a silver lining to it for sure, and even though we missed out on what would have been a great season, there was a lot of opportunity and time there where I could kind of step back and really think about development, and obviously I had a lot of time on my hands, and I think that time was big for me taking a step forward and getting ready to go play Division I baseball.
So that emotional aspect, you were able to channel that by just kind of going to work again, right? Going back and trying to get into the gym and work on your skills and stuff. Is that how you kind of channeled that emotional disappointment?
Yeah, no doubt.
So then that summer, you played in the GNCBL, which was a college level league, and actually because there weren't many options for summer baseball that year, there were quite a few guys who played D1 who were playing in that league. So can you talk about what that was like? You missed your high school year, and now you're playing in a college league where there's some pretty talented players. Did you feel confident going in? What was some of the things that went through your mind as you were getting ready for that summer? You knew you were going to the University of Maine. So can you talk a little bit what that was like?
Yeah, I mean, thinking back on that, I really don't think there was that much nerves or any, I wasn't scared to play there. But I think there was a lot of excitement to go out there and play with a lot of kids that I'd been playing high school baseball against. And, I mean, just the fact that we got to go play that summer was huge. And we went out there and we made the most of it, and we had a blast every day. So I think that was the biggest piece of that summer was I think I just let myself enjoy the summer and really go out there and have fun playing the game, because I may have taken it for granted before COVID, but after that senior season getting taken away, I knew that I had to just go out there and enjoy it and have a blast with my teammates.
That's something that sometimes I think can get lost in that pursuit of excellence and trying to prove yourself, as you move up to a higher level, is that ability to just have fun, There's the movie The Rookie, right? And there's that one scene in that movie that I've always loved where he goes and he's like watching a little league game or something and kind of gets his new perspective, and he comes back and hey, Brooksy, guess what we get to do today? we get to play baseball, right? There was that kind of idea of like, hey, here I am, I'm getting to play baseball. This is fun, and it just that shift really kind of helped him. And so it sounds like that's kind of what after the kind of the stress of losing your high school senior year, you had that shift and just went out and had fun playing ball.
For sure.
All right, so we're done that season, and it's time to go to the University of Maine. Now, for a lot of high school kids, athlete or not, that's a big transition, right? You're going away from home, you're on your own, there's some freedoms that you didn't necessarily have in high school, and, there can be some challenges to that. Can you kind of talk about what those biggest challenges were for you going up to UMaine, and even like what did they do to help you acclimate into college life, fall baseball, and that whole work? Could you talk about that?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge going into that college freshman year was time management. Obviously, the classes schedules look different. You got practice that you have to be at, lifts you have to be at. You have to get work in on your own. So I think the whole idea of kind of making your own schedule and making sure that you're on top of everything was tough. And I think having a good roommate and having a roommate that was kind of just as bought in as me was a big piece of that, because it's easy to get distracted up there, and I bet at every college it's easy to get distracted and start missing assignments and stuff like that. But staying focused in on that made all life within the sport a lot easier, because you weren't thinking about the homework you had to get done after practice and stuff like that. And I also think going into it, there was some good upperclassmen that kind of helped the freshmen out and helped kind of set the standard for the team, along with help you kind of show you the ropes and let you know how to go about things and kind of what the workload is and stuff like that.
So during that freshman year, as you're getting acclimated, what does a D1 program, University of Maine, what do they do to help the players, the team, get ready for the season, and during the season get ready for the competition from a mental standpoint, right? And obviously there's a whole lot of stuff skill-wise, right? You're out there, you're working on your fundamentals, the fielding, throwing, hitting, all those things. What about that mental side of the game? Did they have a structured program or training or anything, or was it kind of haphazard? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think maybe that part was a little overlooked. We didn't have any structured mental training or anything like that, but I'd say the biggest preparation we got was from our practices, and the standard was high at our practices, and I think those set you up to play good in the games, because in some moments there was some high stress practices and guys were getting kicked out, and if you weren't making plays, you were getting sent off the field. So I think a lot of it was almost like a sink or swim. Like, you got to go out there and you got to make the plays, or you got to go take a seat because there's a next guy up in line. So I think, like, when you train hard like that, it makes the games easy. And I think that was a big philosophy up there, was we're going to try and make some of these practices high stress, high intent, and kind of set you up to play in the games. And I think that was a big help for sure. But when it comes to mental training, stuff like that, we didn't really talk about that much. Again, it was a lot of just sink or swim, like tough practices, high intensity, stuff like that.
So without the guidance then from specific actions from the coach and all, were there things that you tried to do? Like you said, some of those practices were kind of intense, right? You know, you got to make the play. How did you go about trying to handle that and keep that focus without letting that pressure get to you? I mean, obviously, by the time you're a junior, you're doing really well, so you were doing something there to kind of keep progressing. Were there any tricks of the trade that you developed on your own, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest piece of that was probably just understanding that the game doesn't change. I mean, you can speed things up in your head all you want, but it's still the same ground ball that you took with your buddies on the backfield. So I think understanding that and just trying to slow things down in your head really helped me, and just slowing things down for sure.
So you had that environment, playing D1 baseball, pretty competitive program. Your junior year, you guys had a good team. You get drafted, now you go into the minor leagues. So you're going up another whole level. That's another whole transition, whole different game. Everything from oftentimes I think some average fan might always just focus on the major league aspect and all the money those guys get and all that. Minor leagues is a whole nother ball game. Can you talk a little bit about what that transition to that, and the the travel, the the fact that you don't get paid a lot. You get a little bit of a, I'm not sure what your signing bonus would have been in your round, but it's not the big multi-million-dollar deal that you hear about some of these first rounders getting. So can you kind of talk about what that transition was like, and what was maybe the more challenging parts of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think going into it, I mean, I was beyond excited for the opportunity. And we went straight into like a draft camp. So it's you and all the draftees and maybe some younger Latin guys down there. And it's basically just workouts at the field every day. So they kind of ease into it, which definitely helps. I mean, you're not hopping right into a game. But I think that was good just to get my feet wet. And then I went right into rookie ball. So that was just at the complex. Very, very few American guys playing in that league. And so it was different. I mean, you're playing around a lot of Latin guys where it's their life, and they love the game just as much as you, don't get me wrong, but they're playing to provide for their family and send money home and stuff like that. So their aspect is a little different sometimes, but I mean, at the end of the day, it was all a blast there too. Just they play the game with a lot of heart, and they always keep stuff fun. So I think as long as you can do that, as long as you can keep the game fun, go out there, play loose, you're in a good spot. So, but the biggest difference I think I noticed there was if you start looking around and question your ability, you're gonna get lost. So I think just the inner trust in yourself, all the work you put in, and just the ability to truly like trust the process and trust what you're working towards is huge when you get put in that environment.
I had a conversation with Mike Bordick, and he was talking about minor league baseball life and all, and he and his teammate from UMaine, Billy Reynolds, were both playing out, I think it was Medford, but they were on the same minor league team and all. And Billy had told me, this was after he had his minor league career had ended, that baseball had always come really easy to him. Like it had, you practice, and he just went about his business and never really understood how to work. And I told that to Mike Bordick, and Mike's like, oh, man, Billy was always working hard. He was taking as many ground balls and extra bat practice and all that. And in that conversation, came about that what Billy was trying to say was he didn't really know how to analyze his game to get better, while Mike did. Mike knew how to kind of break it down so that he could say, all right, I really need to work this way and do this. Can you talk about that for yourself? Like when you are out there and you're looking at all these guys with, lots of talent, what goes through your mind, or how do you go about trying to get better? Is there a specific process that you're doing? Can you talk about your experiences so far, even going back to UMaine, but what your approach is to keep getting better and getting to that next level?
Yeah, I think reflecting on yourself, reflecting on your game, and that's huge. You have to find your flaws, or you won't ever fix them, and that will leave you in the dust. So I think, especially right now, I'm going into an off season after playing 120 games. It's huge for me to look back and kind of take a step back and be like, all right, where's the biggest piece of my game that is struggling? And it's hard for some people to do, but it's the most important thing to do if you want to truly be the best player you can be. So I think, you gotta be honest with yourself, and even if your mindset still is, I'm the best player on this field, no one's better than me, but I can get better at X, Y, and Z, then I truly think you're in a good place, because you have a lot of time to work on your flaws. So I think the people who attack those the most and obviously still work on what they're good at, because that makes them the good player they are. But attacking your flaws is huge, and I think once you can figure that out and truly feel comfortable with yourself doing that, you're in a good place.
So at the minor league level, like when you watch Major League Baseball, they've got all this video analysis and all this data and all this technology type stuff to try to analyze and break down their swings and break down their performance on the moment. What about down at Class A ball? Do you guys get some of that same sort of technology and feedback after games and video analysis and all those things, or is it much more old school? On you, pen, paper, notebooks, journaling, those sort of things. Can you talk about that at that level? And at the minor league level, is it the?
We still have all the technology, and we still do get video on all the pitchers, and the technology. They have some of the stuff that you wouldn't even believe is a thing at this point. Yeah, so we get video on yourself and the pitchers, and there's data constantly being made about your performance and how you move and literally everything along with your development. So I think it's important to hear that feedback every once in a while, but at the end of the day, I think that technology only goes so far. What they say about, the game being played in between your ears and it's all mental, is a lot of that stuff is true. And I think if you let a lot of that data get to your head, then you're kind of doing yourself a disfavor, because a lot of that stuff is good, but if you let it bother you and basically let it tell you that you're not as good as you think you are, then it's just doing harm. So I think if you use that data right and you can attack your flaws and attack, then that's what it's meant for. So I think us having the data is very important, and we get to watch video on every pitcher we face, and we get to see what their true shape of every pitch they throw and speed and stuff like that. But, I mean, it only gets you so far. So I think a lot of it comes down to your approach to the game and what you think of what you're thinking, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's good. So I'm going to ask you kind of the same question I asked in context of Maine. So now that you're at the minor league level, pro baseball, what are they doing, the team, to try to help guys on that mental side of the game, right? Is it similar kind of the way Maine was? They're just trying to kind of push you a little bit mentally, or is there a structured kind of training to be able to get yourself mentally prepared to compete at that level?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually probably the complete opposite. There isn't, I mean, obviously there's a very competitive aspect to the game we play, but we have a mental coordinator who will help guys out if you need it. But he'll send out like videos and maybe good books to read, stuff like that. So his job is literally there to help you with the mental side of the game because they know it's so important and stuff like that. He'll go from helping you with stuff to do before the game to help you get locked in, and then maybe stuff to help you sleep that night before bed and meditation and stuff like that. So I think it's a little different just because the personnel you can hire, and we have a guy in the minor leagues that just takes care of the mental side. So it's a little different, but yeah.
So obviously I'm always interested in that aspect of it, right? So can you talk a little bit, maybe a little more details about what some of that looked like? How much of that was like an individual thing? Do they do something with a whole group every day? Are they, giving you the typical stuff around breath work and visualization? Can you talk maybe a little bit more details what that actually looks like for preparing mentally?
Yeah, so obviously everything is very individual. So, I mean, not everybody likes to visualize before the game. Not everybody prays before the games. So I think a big piece of it early on was finding what works for you and truly committing to that and making sure you make it part of your routine and do it every day before the game. But, yeah, other than that, I mean, I think another thing that was cool is they had us do like a circle talk about hitting, the mindset of hitting, approach, stuff like that. And even the coaches talked about some former guys they had who were playing in the big leagues that what they were thinking and how they went through some struggles and figured it out too, and just stuff along those lines that was kind of cool to hear from other people who are playing the same game as you, but you obviously thinking different things all the time.
Cool. So your season has ended, right? Was there a process from the whole coaching staff, the organization, to say, all right, this is where you were, Quinn. This is how you kind of ended. This is what you need to work on in the off season. These are what we want to see from you in the off season. Was there any sort of meeting like that and kind of setting out, or were you kind of on your own going, all right, let me look at my season, let me look at what I need to improve on? Can you kind of talk about that aspect and how much the organization was kind of saying to you, this is what we need from you, this is what we need you to do?
Yeah, so I think I had probably 3 or 4 meetings throughout the year that were basically like check-ins. So they basically told me where I was at what I need to work on, how maybe I could work on it, and stuff going forward. So at the end of the year, we probably had a week left, but I think it was our last home stretch. They sat everybody down for meetings with the entire staff. They flew in some coordinators, and they basically just told you where you were at and what they think your off season should really look like and how to go about it. So they were pretty helpful with that, and obviously their whole goal is to make you a big leaguer. So they're trying to help you in every single way possible. So they were good about that, and obviously a lot of it is on you. You have to put in the work. You have to, put in the time, do your hours and stuff. But they were super helpful with that, and they are actually putting me on they have individualized weight training programs for everyone. So they send that right to your phone every day, and they even help with. They basically send out diets for everyone. So they're really helpful with stuff like that, and try and help you to get where you want to be as a player for sure.
Very good. We have come just about to the end of our time, so I do appreciate the time that you've taken to talk to us today and some insights. So all those people out there who are maybe in high school now or college and following the same dream that you had, I think you've really helped giving them an idea of what to expect, and I really do appreciate that. So thank you for the time. And I hope all of you out there enjoyed this conversation I had with Quinn McDaniel, and I think he really gave some good insights on that path of going from high school, pursuing your dreams of playing college baseball, and then beyond. And a lot of the things he said about training and development and the mindset, I think, are relevant to all of you out there. So again, I, as always, suggest if you have any questions about mindset and where you're at with that and the mental health side of things, go to CoachChuck360.com. Check out all the information I have there. Schedule a discovery call with me. There's a lot that we can kind of hash out in a conversation, so I can figure out where you're at, what some of the needs you might have are, and how I may be able to help you. So once again, go CoachChuck360.com. Check out all my information there. And until the next time,